Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the February 14th Impact Review Show. Now, did Impact meet my expectations? Did it meet your expectations? Did it meet anybody's expectations? Well, we're about to find out, because I'm hoping you leave me some comments below telling me how you felt that Birmingham, England's arena felt to you. The YWC. Now, in the opening of the show, we have Hulk Hogan. The segment is about 10 minutes long. Sting joins him eventually. But what we get is this. We find that there's going to be a number one contenders matches. Matches, ladies and gentlemen. We have number one contender matches. We had RVD versus Storm. Austin Aries and Robert Roode, our tag team champions. We had Magnus and we had Christopher Daniels, and finally we got Samoa Joe and Angle. Now I can say I saw all four of these matches, and they were a bit surprising how things were structured. Now the first match is going to be Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels, and I had said before, and I'll say it again, we're going to have only Kazarian as a manager for a while. I mean, he will do tag teams from time to time. He might do a singles matches from time to time, but he's generally just going to be Christopher Daniels' buddy. He will be his manager. Now, how did the match go? Good. And it looked good for Magnus. One, Magnus' theme song has been changed. So I think they're actually pushing him, because he won. Magnus won over Christopher Daniels. Yeah! We got a man in Magnus who looks like Hugh Jackman. Forget about if you wonder about his sexuality. It don't matter. Mr. Wolverine is always going to be loved. Don't matter. He has his look. He has one well put together body. He can talk decently well in the mic, because when you saw after the match was over, he did his little segment. He was out of breath. You take that out of the equation. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, he was just in the ring. It exhausts you. So, seeing that right afterwards takes a kind of a gauge of how well he can talk while he's winded, which is okay. He didn't do bad. He has a good look. He has a good, his mic skills are not bad. Honestly, they're not. His in-ring work, he's a big guy, so not every big guy has good in-ring work. They have to have a balance of looking really good compared to doing well in the ring. Remember, you want someone who does pretty well in the ring and looks good physically at the same time. You can have guys in there that look like slobs and can wrestle their asses off, but they just don't get over. And then you got guys who are super well built, like Robbie T, Rob Terry, who is more cock diesel than Magnus is, but he's just not getting over. I'm not saying he couldn't eventually get over, but he's just not getting over. Now you have basically Magnus, who's almost near a balance of big muscle guy who can do some decent work in the ring and tell a story. So he's got the tools. Now he just needs to be pushed. So it's good to see they're going to push him. Now the next match of the night, and I'm getting it done, because I know the reason for its use, but I just wasn't interested in it. Not that much at the end. And that is Joe and Angle. Now, Angle came in 2005. He started with Joe. We know these guys can have a good match. They have good chemistry together. I actually have a Genesis 2005. That was one of the few times that actually... remember, ladies and gentlemen, for me personally, I had dropped wrestling from 1990 to 2002. I really did. I had a lot of stuff going on. So after around 2002 to 2005, I really was just beginning to get back into wrestling, and then I heard about TNA. And I picked up an older version of Genesis. Around 2007, I got that 2006 Genesis. And I've been able to try and keep up with it as much as I could. And I like Angle and Joe together. They have good chemistry. So the match wasn't boring to me. What I didn't like was when the heel twins, Bischoff and Briscoe came at them and attacked them each. Really did. Garrett and Wes Briscoe, they're going to be teamed together. I'm sorry to say teams. Team together to do the business. This is what they're going to be doing. They weren't getting over his faces. Keeping them together whenever it was shown. So they're going to be seen as heels together, and they'll probably be a heel tag team. What I believe is going to happen with this, you're going to have a tag team between Joe and Angle versus the heel twins, Bischoff and Briscoe. That's going to come in lockdown. They're not announcing it now, but I'm sure it's going to happen. It's going to happen. If you don't think it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I am sure about it. I bet my bandana on it. Now, the next thing, and I'm going to take this a little off. The mixed tag with Kim, Tara, and Jesse versus the BBC. I'm not talking about big black, you know what. I'm talking about British Boot Camp, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't know what BBC really meant, big black cock. Sorry, just for those who don't know what it means. But British Boot Camp, I've seen some of the episodes. I haven't really had a chance to really see the final episodes that closed it off and let Rockstar Spud win. But seeing Party Marty and the Blossom Twins, that gives me hope that they're going into OVW. Even though they're not saying they will, you know they're going to go into OVW. It's just that they're not going to state it. Eventually they're going to go in there because after the showing they did, even though they lost, it was necessary. You got to let these people be seen so when they go to OVW, people will be going, wait a minute, could these guys be in OVW now? The marks are going to realize they're going to be there, so we're going to eventually see if they're going to be there. If they are, they'll be watched. And if they're watched enough and they're interested enough in the OVW product, they'll eventually be moved to TNA. That's at least what I get. The in-ring work of Party Marty wasn't bad. He looked tiny compared to Jesse. But Jesse ain't that great anyway. He's basically going to be a muscled out jobber at the moment. The thing that gets me, and I understand why they did it, doesn't mean I want to see it again. Gail Kim back in the title picture. Then it gets interesting. As interesting as you can get it. Gail Kim does her speech basically saying, I want that damn title back. Brooke, give me my shot. What do we get? Brooke comes out in a nice shiny dress, showing some curves that she got. Lovely. And says, Gail, you want it? You got it. But there's going to be a little bit of a twist. At Lockdown, no, it wasn't Lockdown, or was it going to be the next week? I can't remember. I believe it's going to be next week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to be at Lockdown. If I'm wrong about it being next week, I'm sorry. I will be updating the information I do know about in my next Debate of the Week, working on the knockouts. That will be coming in the next couple of days. But you know what? She's going to be going up against... Gail Kim's going up against Tara, Velvet Sky, and Miss Tessmacher. No matches between Miss Tessmacher and Velvet Sky. Just up against Tara. And they both lost. Let me see here. Is this really good? I can't really say yes or no to this because they're doing something with the knockouts. Right now, you got Brooke Hogan working in the main storyline. She's not involved with the knockouts at this moment. They only cart her out when they need her. So I'm going to just, I'm not going to bash this. At least we're getting an elimination 4-way. We are. That's not great, but at least it's something. I want to see something. The only thing left that really needs to be done is to have a storyline with this. Hopefully, by the time of Lockdown, I'll start working on storylines for the knockouts because I don't really have one. But I'm just going to take it for what it is. At least something for the moment. Maybe it might be hyped up. I might be wrong about it being next week. I'm hoping it isn't. It will be for Lockdown. That will give us some time to try and build for it. But if it is for the next paper, it is for the next Impact, I'm going to just try and be positive about it. Now, the next match, Storm versus RVD. Not a bad match. And I wish to say that I'm still very upset about commentary because Taz is really bringing the show down. I think now Taz is getting a little confused about what he's supposed to be doing. Sometimes he acts like a regular commentary like he was. Other times he's acting like a heel for the Aces and Eights. Then he acts like a heel trying to promote other heels instead of just promoting the heels he wants. He gets confusing. And it's really bringing down the show. And then you do not have Todd working well with this situation. Todd is not working well with it. Because I don't think he knows how to feel about this, or he knows what they really need him to say. They need to script this. Seriously, they need to script this. For Mike, Mike now is tolerable because Taz is so terrible. Mike was the one that was the weakest link on that team. Now it's Taz who's the weakest link on the team. And the one who's carrying the entire show is not Mike. It's not Taz. It's Todd. And Todd still is not really that ready yet for this. He's good, but he can't carry the entire show. Mike's not doing that well. Taz is doing terrible. And Todd is trying to hold the show together. And it's really bringing it down for me for commentary. I have to actually tune out commentary. Unless it's something important. Really. But the match itself wasn't bad. And who wins? It's the James Storm that wins, baby. For the Off the Rope show and Dick Storm. I'm happy your man's being pushed. I'm happy your cousin Dick Storm is being pushed. And I really hope that he will contact you and tell you that I'm going to be calling you to the bar, my brother. And we're going to get tore up. And once we get tore up, we're going to be going up in this. We're going to be hitting up some good ass women in hardcore country. I wanted to throw Mickey Jane in there because she's damn beautiful. So, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the last match of the night is Rude and Austin Aries. And I wish to say that Austin Aries was more over than Rude was. That people were cheering more for Rude. No, not more for Rude. They were cheering more for Austin Aries. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. The thing about this, why I got a little confused about Robert Roode, is that in the beginning, it was some funny shit. Seeing that they're doing the finger poke of death. But neither one of them wanted to do the job. If no one didn't like this segment in the match, and the segment in the beginning, the match in the beginning, I understand. It's not always really for everybody. But it was some funny shit. It wasn't that. It was one of the guys just dropping to the floor and they do the 1, 2, 3. Neither one of them wanted to do the job. Each one of them wanted to screw the other. And then at the end, which I thought was a good idea. I don't care about those stereotypicals. Chavo and Superman. I'm sorry, I don't. They just carved them out because they have nobody else to deal with these two. But having them not to job to each other was a perfect ending. Why? Look, the way things are, if things continue to go well for them, they could actually turn them face. But for now, they're still very entertaining heels that really play off each other so well. But if you start jobbing one to the other, it's not going to work well. You have to keep them from jobbing to each other. Let them continue screwing each other over but never succeeding. So they would stay partners. And having Chavo and Superman there to do that, I'm fine with it. It's okay. I would like more teams in the tag team division instead of those two, but this is all we got. So let's just take it for what it is. Now, I'm going to say also some of the back stuff that was done. Bellator fighting. Bellator live. Seeing Dixie Carter there was a good thing. All the time, we always see Bellator or anything in mixed martial arts, or anyone else is always being promoted on TNA. And we don't always hear it being reciprocated. Seeing that TNA was allowed or was privileged to do a reciprocation and then being allowed to air it on their show really made it for me, personally. I was very happy because seeing that, and she looked a little awkward on Bellator Live for me. she's still okay, but she looked a little awkward. And seeing that they're talking about now going on the road and that Jeff Hardy's coming back on the 28th was good. I'm glad to hear both of them. That's important. I do believe that it would have been better to have a video package of Hardy pre-taped and let him say that he's going to be coming back and kicking the ass of Aces and Eights and getting back Daniels and anyone else. I feel that would have been better, but that didn't happen. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Next, to Joseph Park's segment. That's gold, baby. Just like when it came to Austin Aries and Robert Roode, this man is gold. Seeing him come to the office with Hogan and Brooke in the back going, what is he doing? He is not trying to politic that way. That was a funny shit. Seeing him trying to do politicking like a politician, saying to Hogan, you know, I talked to the guys in the back, and they said if you want to get somewhere, you got to do some politicking. So I went and hired myself a manager to help me work out how to do the bumper stickers, how to do the posters, how to get the buttons ready. And I just need to know, will you have my vote to go after Jeff Hardy as World Heavyweight Champion? He's going like, Hogan's going like, no he didn't. Not laughing, but he's like, check with the guys about ribbing. Just that bit was just damn funny. If you didn't like it, I understand. Just like I say throughout the most of this review, you're not going to enjoy everything on TNA. It's not meant to please everyone, but it is meant to try and please as much of a wide audience as possible. And Joseph Park is damn funny. I enjoyed this segment. I was not bored with it. The thing that gets me now is what they're going to do with Bully Ray, because since there was never a clear winner from the four that Hogan had won in the 4 matches, we don't know. One match was not finished. Another match was not finished. So you basically had Magnus and Storm. That's it. Samoa Joe and Angle didn't finish. And both were counted out on Austin Aries and Robert Roode. So you only had those two left. But there was no announcement. We get Aces and Eights to the ring to try and kick Hogan's ass. And what do we get? We get Bully Ray coming to the ring with a messed up quad. And I'll talk about that bit with him and Brooke later. But we have them in the center of the ring, and he protects Hulk Hogan. This is kind of hard to say what's going to happen. Really, I don't know if this is a good structure for the show. I'm not sure. Particularly that, look, when it comes down to it, the show is revolving around 3 segments, from what I see. Aces and Eights, where they're not really getting very well with it. You having Sting and Hogan dealing with Aces and Eights. And then you have Bully Ray, who's dealing with Hogan, who's dealing with Aces and Eights. I know I could have put Bully Ray with Hogan and Sting, but the way it's going, they're splitting those two off from it. Bully Ray and Brooke. In some form or fashion, something's going to happen with these two. Either they're going to be part of Aces and Eights, or something's going to happen that's going to involve it in some type of screwiness. It doesn't really matter if you enjoy it or not. This is where it's going, my perspective. Tell me how you feel about it. I want another perspective about this, but I see 3 ways it's going. So, seeing Bully Ray early in the show, basically saying, I want to get them so bad, but my leg is screwed up. Let me take you out and wine and dine you and get you some shoes, Brooke. That felt like family. I mean, what a husband and wife does, it does that. I mean, they do that. Fine. When it came to Daddy and Brooke and hearing that little bit, that's not too far from real truth in wrestling, from what I understand. That relatives in the wrestling business really try to get their relatives over in some form or fashion. Sometimes they're married, sometimes they're actually brothers, sisters, cousins, whoever. And they try to really get them pushed and be considered, counting if they actually have some ability. So seeing that segment also is to real life. That does happen. Just like what happened with Joseph Park. you know that they do a lot of politicking that also involved in it. So in this sense, to show the way it was showing a little bit of reality in the wrestling business. Does this mean this is a good show? This is what it comes down to. The X Division really wasn't presented, even though that RVD was there. I would have liked to have an X Division match other than RVD and Storm, but that wasn't really there. Maybe we get a B here. I can honestly say it's a B. I can't give it a B plus or a B minus because they didn't do bad work. And I know I don't like the Aces and Eights and you don't like it, but still you have to take into account they are trying to recorrect the problems they got here. One of the things they really need to recorrect, get Taz off of commentary as Aces and Eights guy. Make him stop. 2, push Magnus more because they really need him. 3, push Storm more. They really need him. See where they're going to go with Aces and Eights while Bully Ray is involved. They really need to get this going. And hopefully when they go back to Impact, when they have Jeff Hardy there, they'll give more information. I felt that because he didn't do a pre-tape and they didn't show it, they could have lied it was satellite feed. It would have been better, but they didn't do that. So I'm going to just say it's a B. Simply because they did much of the things not badly. They also showed the British Boot Camp guys. They did a decent job with it. They did effective work. Not effective storytelling, but they did more effective work. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel. No, I'm saying challenge. My channel. If anyone has seen my previous video of, probably connected below, that they are now eliminating wrestling in the Olympics. There's only one more Olympics of the wrestling, 2016. I'm going to connect it there, and you guys take a look at it and look at the article I put with it. That's shameful what they're doing. That's also one of the reasons why I was botching. I was actually thinking about it. So look at that video, tweet it right to the committee, the commission, sorry. Tell them it's wrong. Fight for the right to keep wrestling as a sport in the Olympics. So have a good night.